Hello everyone, welcome back to a new episode of How to Reach 2000. In this game, I think I'll be playing my actual openings because these guys are pretty strong and I don't want to be playing some openings which I don't know anything about and I don't want to fall into any of their traps, so I'm gonna play openings that I'm familiar with. This is how you play against the London. You have to play c5 and then you can play knight to c6. They decide to take, which is kind of weird, but I'm gonna pin this knight, and my idea is to play this. Here we go. And as you can see, we won the pawn back, and we have a nice center. So it's not that easy to just take the pawn and say, I'm up a pawn. The pawn is not gonna survive for long, and you're not gonna have a nice position. I would say I'm already slightly better. Anyways, let's castle. And I hung my pawn straight away, which is nice. Very good stuff. Very, very good stuff. Just hang your pawns. I'm gonna try this. Well, there goes the fork. I would love to save my knight, but I don't think that's gonna happen. I'm wondering if I can play queen to a5 and try to save my knight. How do I win this? I could try this, but takes. That might actually work. I'm gonna go here because I'm trying to simplify. I have one idea to checkmate, so this is not actually a pawn sacrifice. If they take twice, then I have queen to d1, checkmate. They take once, and they go back. I think what we should do is attack this knight, and once the knight moves away, we can try to get a trade of queens, and then we can play this. My knight looks stuck, but it's defended by the pawn, so it's okay. Even if I lose the knight, then I can still try to get a few pawns for it. Okay, buddy. He looks pretty angry. Can I try to sack my knight? I mean, I don't think my knight can do much anyway, so I'm gonna sacrifice. I'm gonna try to get in. Knight here isn't scary. I'm just gonna move my rook. If they're greedy enough to take a few pawns, then I don't know. Looks pretty bad. Let's push the pawn and defend it. That's the whole point of having a bishop here. I'm gonna play this next. That's a good move. It's temporarily preventing my idea. But I can go here and I'm gonna snack. Look at this pressure. You know what I'm threatening? I'm threatening rook takes, and after king takes, I'm threatening this. That would be a nice end to the game. If they take my rook, I'm gonna promote. If they don't take my rook, I'm still gonna promote. And no matter what they do, I'm just gonna promote. Good game. We crossed 1500, which is nice. I played at 82.7 accuracy and my opponent played at 75.1 accuracy. This is what I usually play against the London system. I like to play c5 and challenge the center. This also allows me to play knight c6 without actually blocking in my c-pawn because I already moved it. And I'm opening up my queen so that I can go to b6 and put pressure on the b2 square. The problem with playing the London system is the b2 pawn is always weak because the bishop leaves the home square very early in the game. Therefore, queen b6 is a very major idea when you're playing against the London system. They decided to take, but I don't think this is a very good move because I don't think they can hang on to this pawn on c5 because I can eventually play e5 with tempo on the bishop and regain this pawn with my bishop on f8. They're gonna have a hard time playing moves like c3 and b4 because they're not fast enough. My idea is I want to pin this knight so that I can play e5 with tempo without actually losing my pawn. And they go back. In this position I missed e4, which wins a piece, but I decided to take this pawn, and here I just castle and blunder my e5 pawn, which was quite frustrating, but I did not see it until I played castles. I go for this little trick. At this point I'm kind of angry at myself that I hung the pawn, and I'm trying to go for a few tricks to trick my opponent and win some material, because if I just do nothing, then I'm just down a pawn with a really bad structure. My isolated pawn is really weak. I cannot push it forwards because it could just be captured. In this position, I'm just trying to save this knight. I have a tactic here so they cannot take twice. So if they take here with the queen, I have queen to d1 checkmate, so they decided they would go back. And here I saw a bunch of moves that allow me to get a queen trade. I played f6, which deflects the knight away from the d3 square, so I can check on d3 with my queen. And if they take my queen, which is the only logical move, because otherwise they would be hanging their queen, I can get a passed pawn on the d file, and also I have a square for my knight to go to, so I really liked it. Here I move my rook from the a8 square to the d8 square. Ideally I should have moved the rook from f8 to d8 so that my rook on a8 can go to c8. But I did not really see this because right now the position is kind of closed on the c file, so I wasn't really expecting it. And I was thinking maybe I have ideas like this. But they played this move b4 and I decided I would just sacrifice my knight because my knight doesn't really have a future. I decided I would fully invest in this pawn and try to promote it. Now I play rook to c8, occupying the c file. I push the pawn, save my bishop, bring the rook, and here I sacrifice my rook. And in this position, promotion is unstoppable. I'm going to promote my pawn on d2 to a queen. After I played rook to c1, my opponent just decided to resign. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video.